Good afternoon, passport holders. Today, August 17th, 2017, making today day 1021 of the vlogs. And I'm up earlier than I wanted to be, and I'm on even more short sleep than I wanted to be because next door they were reflooring the entire apartment. It started at 8 a.m. and really got into effect around 10:30. And so they were banging on that entire floor. Um, Basically impossible for me to sleep through. They stopped around noon. I was able to fall back asleep. They started back up around 1:30, um, and have been at it up until about 3 o'clock. And it's now 4. So basically I'm working on like 3.5, 4.5 hours of sleep if I'm really giving myself kind of the benefit of the doubt on that kind of lie down period in the in-between. So tonight's going to be rough, like 100%. That stated, what have I done with the extra time? Well, I finished the second major piece of the tool for what I'm working on in my personal time, but relates to the gig. So got the Google APIs all functioning, got my API keys, got everything working, and had it run through all 7,800 domain names that were in the database and qualified. And then at that point, just punted, got all that data out, formatted a data output stream on that 7,800 domain names. 48 of them were prime leads, which is a 0.006 return rate, or 0.6% return rate, which is actually a lot higher than I was expecting. I was expecting a 0.0015 on the high side. So that's actually very positive. That's 4 times larger than I thought it was. What I'm probably going to do here over this weekend is load in, because the initial data set was like 55,000 domains. I'm probably going to load in 250,000 domains and push it all the way through over the course of the weekend and see kind of where we land on the back end of that. So that's the target. Pretty simple, really, all things said and done. So at this point, I've got a little extra time. Clintus's captions actually just came back, so I'm going to actually do those super early. Watch Philly D, watch CTFXC, get my vlog edit done. So I should be pretty much done for the work side, or the pre-work side of things, by 6:30. And then that will give me 2 additional hours where I'm not entirely sure what I'll do. So who knows, maybe I load in some of those domain names now, maybe I just sit around here and think about things. I got a couple of emails in my inbox for work already today, one of which requires a lengthy essay. And so I'm debating on whether or not I send that tonight, or if I send that on Sunday night leading into Monday. I mean, I've got to rectify the situation one way or another. I'm unwilling to continue to let this situation go the way that it has, without at least feeling heard. So is what it is, but that's where we're at today, guys, and it's going to be a very sleepy one, and I can almost guarantee that tomorrow's vlog is going to be super short, because I'm going to try and catch up on a lot of that sleep if the construction guys will let me, because they're scheduled to be back here tomorrow as well. Hope you guys are having a better day than I am. Let's get today started. UPS store for Amazon returns. Yeah, finally getting around to this. Alright guys, 8 p.m., dinner done. I've been continuing to work on the scripts and getting things into a much tighter circle. So basically, the major changes I'm making is the order of which things happen. So previously what I was doing was I was going through the entire database, collecting all the registrars, and then I would clean those registrars, and then I would go and get all the name servers, and then I would clean those name servers, and I would go get all the countries based on IP addresses, and then I'd clean via country, and then I'd go to Google. And what I found is actually that I can do this in a very different way, and it ultimately speeds everything up. And so I'm missing the final piece, so I started with the easier ones to work with, which were, okay, great, let's check the country code against the list of countries that we don't want to work with. Can I embed that in the initial kind of, okay, hey, I'm getting a country code? I was successful with that. Great. let's do it with the name servers, right? You know, hey, are there certain name servers that we don't want to work with? The answer is yes. Can we clear those out before they even get to that point? And so now the big push is to actually bring that to the registry or the registrars themselves. So checking as the initial check is happening whether or not the domain name registrar matches somewhere in an array. And if it does, then it won't be put into the database. It'll actually be deleted from the database. If it is, then the registrar of that domain name will be inserted into the database. And then that clears the way for it to then, instead of going down the path of name servers, country code, etc., to actually go to Google. So Google is able to give me more results faster, and I'm not entirely sure why, but it is what it is. So I can get the registry data at about, I think it's like 500 or so domains a minute if I'm parallel threading. So one of the things that I can do is I can run multiple subsets simultaneously. And so, yeah, getting all that data back is pretty interesting to watch fly out, fly back. But, yeah, so I can do it like that. And then the secondary piece is that I can grab that data from Google at about 20 domains a second. Is kind of what they've given me consistently in my testing today. So if I can get through those 500 domains and you know, even if it slows down, right? It slows down to 10 minutes, right? And 60% of those are going to be no good because they are registered with one of these 67 registrars that we don't want to work with. Then the remaining 40%, you know, 400 domains in this mock situation, can be checked in a matter of about 8 minutes, which is like, or I'm sorry, like what, 20 domains a second, 5 times 8, yeah, so like 40 seconds I'll get all that data back, update in the database, and ready to go. So it's like a minute there. And then and only then, if I see that it's listed on the malware list, will I actually go get the name servers and the country code so that we can do that. And I'll actually probably reverse that so that I get the country code first, because that comes back fairly quickly if it's not in one of our block countries. So if it's like pinging China, it's always going to take longer than the timeout period that I've set for it. So if I can get that, and then the name servers, and then finally the big piece at the very, 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 very end is going to be the full whois data, and then having that inserted into a separate database so that things can stay pretty clean, pretty tight, and pretty concise all the way through. So I'm really proud of where I'm at, and I'm proud of kind of how it's all kind of coming together. It's probably going to be completely useless, but it's been a fun challenge for me to do, and it's provided a little bit of a win. I'm not going to say it's a big win, because I haven't proven this thing's going to make me any money yet, but, you know, on that first 55,000 domain names to sit there and get 48, and then I added another 4,000 this evening in order to test those pieces as I was building them out with fresh data, and saw that I got an additional 2. So yeah, up to 50 domains that I have found on the internet using this big old bulk list that are currently blacklisted. So pretty solid on that percentage. Like I said, it's much higher than I was expecting it to be. So I'm gonna finish up here, pack up a lunch, maybe some caffeine. I do have a Red Bull, a solo Red Bull that I think I'm gonna take up with me to work tonight. And then get this last shift out of the way and try and continue to recover through the weekend, and figure out kind of what I want to do. All right, guys, here, a couple minutes early. Tried to go slow, tried to burn in a few extra minutes just so I get here right on time. No such luck. Continuing to think about how I'm going to respond to the team lead's email that he sent me today. There's part of me that wants to go into it full force with all my data, all the broken promises, all those types of things, in order to try and make a case that could be rolled up very easily to someone who could make a decision about whether or not I'm going to be paid more here. There's part of me that wants to play a softer hand with him, though, because he is much more of an emotional and touch player than he is data driven. So it's kind of one of those things where I've got to decide what I want to do, if anything. And there's part of me that just wants to let it slide entirely and keep the powder dry for now. But the time is coming where there's going to be a we're sitting down conversation with someone at the company who's in a position who can't make decisions. Not somebody who is hamstrung by political situations. So it is what it is, but it's time to head in. Time to do my final shift of the week. And then hopefully get to a piece of the weekend that I can enjoy. Hopefully I can get some sleep tomorrow too. But thank you guys for your time, your attention. As always, I appreciate them both. And remember, you never stumble upon opportunity by standing still. So go do cool stuff. Bye for now.